Good evening and welcome to Zodiak News with me, Veronica Mani. I'm glad you could join us. Here's a preview of some of our top stories tonight. Economic expert voices positive expectations in view of current 4-day high-level visit by 9 World Bank's officials. CSOs push for the enactment of law to clamp down on increasing cases of human trafficking in Malawi. Government says it is giving high-level attention to concerns of teachers amid increasing sit-ins. Britain steps up support to victims of floods in the country. These are some of our top stories tonight. Stay with us. An economist has challenged government to take advantage of the visit by World Bank officials to share real issues affecting the economy of the country. Dr. Thomas Muntali observes that Malawi has been dogged with a number of challenges that are directly affecting the country's economy, hence the need for government to openly discuss this if the officials can better help the nation. Jacqueline Shema reports.
Malawi is one of the 3 countries in Africa the World Bank team is visiting. This, according to economic expert Dr. Thomas Muntali, is a vast opportunity for the Malawi government to highlight all issues affecting the country's economy. Dr. Muntali indicated that the World Bank has strategies for assisting countries in a number of areas, adding that the Malawi government should open up and share the country's status of the economy.
I think that this is a very wonderful opportunity for Malawi because by them coming here, it gives the Malawi government the opportunity to let them know what plans they have for the country. You will know that the World Bank does have, like any other donor country assistance strategies. So I think they are developing their 3-year country assistance strategy in terms of what they should be focusing on in the next 3 years or so. So government has an opportunity, along with the civil society and business captains, to share the agenda for the country.
On the meeting with other stakeholders, Dr. Muntali said it will provide a platform for the officials to hear issues on the ground besides hearing what's on the government's table.
We are trying to come up with a general consensus of where they should be focusing their energies as a country. You will know that these are high-level colleagues that are more focused on looking at the general operations and strategic directions of where they can be placing resources. And I think it is a time where we can even highlight in terms of our long-term plans. For example, we do now have huge inequalities between the rich and the poor.
The World Bank officials' visit comes at a time when Malawi is struggling economically due to a number of challenges, including high inflation, high interest rates, high fuel prices, and recently the devastating floods. For ZBS News in Nilongwe, I am Jacqueline Shema reporting.
Rising cases of human trafficking in Malawi have spurred civil society and the religious community to demand speedy enactment of human trafficking laws by Parliament. The religious community and civil society organizations claim that there are growing human trafficking syndicates operating inside Malawi and other countries of the world. Our reporter Philip Caetano de Costa caught up with Habiba Osman, gender justice expert and human trafficking advocate at Norwegian Church Aid.
We are targeting the lawmakers through lobbying. We want them to understand that once they have those laws, even their citizens in their own backyard will be protected. Every lawmaker right now is vulnerable in every district. So you can be an MP for Karonga, or you can be an MP from Zuzu City, or you can be an MP for Lilongwe, or you can be an MP for Lesencheu. Your citizens are vulnerable. The people that put you there are vulnerable, especially if we continue having the situation of poverty. So if the lawmakers really are in Parliament today, every lawmaker should not even be debating about this law. This law should be passing even without debate, because our citizens in Malawi are vulnerable, and trafficking is happening across the nation. It is happening in every district, and it is happening everywhere. So we really need our lawmakers to be sober-minded, to be serious. It is not an issue of opposition. It is not an issue of but it is an issue of
Habiba Osman, gender justice expert and human trafficking advocate at Norwegian Church Aid. Government says it is giving serious attention to concerns raised by teachers staging sit-ins in some parts of the country. Speaking to ZBS Thursday afternoon, Acting Public Relations Officer for Ministry of Education, Manfred Ndovi, said that government will respond to the issues soon. Lilongwe Rural East Primary School teachers are on strike, protesting a 3-month delay in salary and leave grant payment by government. Robert Kalua reports.
It is day 2 of sit-in for Lilongwe Rural East Primary School teachers who are forcing government to pay their leave grant and also have the Lilongwe District Education Manager removed for various reasons. On Wednesday, the teachers vowed to continue holding a vigil at the District Education Manager's office until their grievances are addressed. Speaking to Zodiak, Acting Public Relations Officer for Ministry of Education, Manfred Novi, said government is still looking into the issue the teachers brought forward. Teachers' sit-in has affected learners in a number of primary schools within the zone, some of whom are standard 8 and are scheduled to sit for their mock examinations from next week. The students have since pleaded with government to sort out their teachers for their sake.
If possible, government should pay the teachers so that we can continue learning. We are worried because our primary school leaving certificate examinations and these teachers help us.
My plea to government is to please pay these teachers. We need to do revisions since we will be sitting for our primary school exams this coming Wednesday.
Meanwhile, primary school teachers in Salima are also staging a sit-in for issues of delayed leave grant and salaries. For Zodiac in Lilongwe, this is Robert Kalua.
Beneficiaries of the Malawi Vulnerability Assessment Committee Cash Transfer Program have pleaded for an extension of the project in the district. According to the beneficiaries, it is unlikely that they will harvest enough since the rain started late in the area. The MVSC Cash Transfer Program, which is targeting about 260,000 beneficiaries in 15 districts, runs from December to March 2015. Winston Mwale reports.
Over 6,000 beneficiaries are being targeted for Malawi Vulnerability Assessment Committee Cash Transfer Program in 3 traditional authorities in Mchinji district. On Thursday, some of them showed up to receive their monthly allocation of 16,000 kwacha each. A delegation from Save the Children International and Concern Worldwide witnessed the occasion.
We have a commitment to provide a cash transfer to these families until the end of March. We want to make sure that that value of that transfer enables a family, firstly, to feed itself, secondly, to feed itself in a nutritious way that builds and strengthens the family, and thirdly, that through that transfer they can also build up their household resilience to face shocks in the future.
Save the Children International is part of the international NGO consortium which is implementing the project in 10 districts across the country. But the beneficiaries say the project, expected to wind up in March 2015, should be extended. Onesta Banda, 58, is one of these beneficiaries.
This program has been helping us a lot. We are able to buy household items, pay school fees for our children, and do many other things. We want it to continue.
Principal Secretary of the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, Paul Chiunguzeni, says they will look into the request.
As soon as we get the right reports from the Ministry of Agriculture, because they've got to give us a full picture of what is obtaining in all the districts where MVAC response is being implemented. So based on that report, then we're going to come up with a decision.
The 2014 Malawi Vulnerability Assessment Committee report estimates that a total of 640,000 people will be food insecure during the lean period in the country. Winston Mwale, Zodiac.
The UK is scheduled to provide more food, blankets and essential supplies for the thousands of people who have lost their homes due to the floods in Malawi. International Development Secretary Justin Greening announced Thursday that this will include food for 370,000 people and improved access to water, sanitation for 34,000 people to prevent the spread of the disease. The Department for International Development, DFID's £4.1 million funding is also supporting early recovery efforts to enable people to rebuild their livelihoods, which have been devastated by the floods. The latest assessments by the UN Disaster Assessment and Coordination, UNDAC, of the impact of the floods found that 104 people have died, with 65 people injured and 172 people still missing. The number of displaced to temporary shelters is estimated to be 230,000, The UK is working with UNICEF, World Food Programme, Concern Universal, Go Malawi and other international NGOs to provide support to flood victims. The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, has given Malawi some capital to boost fish farming. USAID has pumped in $13.9 million United States dollars towards the implementation of a 5-year fisheries project. Parks Governance and Capacity Development Specialist Dick Kajironda told ZBS on Thursday that the project will be implemented in various areas in the country's fishing hotspots. The main beneficiaries include Lake Malawi in Mangochi, Lake Malombe, Lake Shirwa, Lake Shiuda, and Upper and Middle Shire River. A reminder that you're watching the news on Zodiak live from our studios in Lilongwe. We have more news after the break. Welcome back. Before we proceed, a look at our main stories. Economic expert voices positive expectations in view of current 4-day high-level visit by 9 World Bank officials. CSOs push for the enactment of law to clamp down on increasing cases of human trafficking in Malawi. Government says it is giving high-level attention to concerns of teachers amid increasing strikes. Britain steps up support to victims of floods in the country. Let's now move to international news. A court in Egypt has ordered the release on bail of 2 Al Jazeera journalists being retried for allegedly aiding the banned Muslim Brotherhood. Muhammad Fan and Baha Muhammad were imprisoned in June along their Australian colleague Peter Grest. More in this report.
The 2 journalists for spreading false news to help a terrorist group were overturned on appeal last month. Mr. Peter Grest was freed last week under a law allowing the deportation of foreign nationals to their home countries. Mr. Muhammad Fahmi has given up his Egyptian citizenship to qualify for deportation to Canada, but Mr. Baha Muhammad has no foreign passport. The journalists deny collaborating with the banned Muslim Brotherhood after overthrow of President Mohamed Morsi by the military in 2013. They say they were jailed simply for reporting the news.
President Obama has said all but 100 of the U.S. troops currently stationed in Liberia to fight the spread of Ebola will pull out by the end of April. There were 2,800 U.S. troops in West Africa at the height of the epidemic. More in this report.
President Barack Obama's announcement follows the news that the number of new Ebola cases has risen for the second consecutive week, ending a sequence of encouraging declines. The World Health Organization says Sierra Leone has registered 76 of the 144 new cases, Guinea 65 and Liberia 3. Speaking at the White House in the presence of 6 of 8 U.S. survivors of the deadly virus, President Obama said the announcement represented the transition into the next phase of the fight. He said that as the military contingent in Liberia was reduced, his government was expanding civilian response. The president said around 10,000 civilian responders would stay in West Africa to fight the virus.
Let's now move to sports news. Tiger Woods is taking an indefinite break from golf, saying his game is unacceptable for tournament play. Woods, 39, withdrew injured from last week's event at Torrey Pines after just 12 holes, having missed the cut at the Phoenix Open the week before. More in this BBC report.
Only means that they've been allowed.
Tiger Woods says he needs a lot of work on his game and needs to spend time with people that are important to him. Woods, a former world number 1, who has won 14 majors, has withdrawn from 3 of his last 8 competitive tournaments. In missing the cut in Arizona last month, he recorded the worst round of his professional career with 11 over par 82 in the second round. Woods finished last in a field of 132 golfers.
That's how we wrap up tonight's edition of the news, but before I sign out, another look at some of our major stories. Economic expert voices positive expectations in view of current 4-day high-level visit by 9 World Bank officials. CSOs push for the enactment of law to clamp down on increasing cases of human trafficking in Malawi. Government says it is giving high-level attention to concerns of teachers amid increasing protests. Britain steps up support to victims of floods in the country. On that note, it's time to say bye-bye. I'm Veronica Marley, thanking you for being there. Good night.